Welcome everybody to my channel. Now this is a little update. I did a video about how to mitre a wide fascia board, and you will see that down in the list. It's only the second one down from this video, I believe. And I've had a lot of questions about how we're going to finish the MDF fascia board that goes around the orangery that we're building. So I'm here deep in the heart of the Surrey Hills. It's a beautiful morning, the sun's out. What a great day for painting. So the final coats of paint are going on top of the MDF, and a while back I was approached by a guy called Hanford and Green, who has a paint company called Hanford and Green. Now Hanford and Green are a new paint company born out of a group of people who from the paint industry. In fact, Adam was a painter by trade, and Adam asked me to look at his paint. Now I'm not a paint expert, although I've had plenty of painting done over the years by various decorators and a lot of good mates of mine. So it was really interesting to look at a new paint and hear all about why his acrylic based paints are truly brilliant. Now, like anything, it's not until you try a product. You can read about it, you can look at it, you can get a recommendation, but to try it yourself is the best way of knowing if something's really good. So anyway, if I turn around, you'll see in the background that the primers are done. Water-based primer, good quality water-based primer on the MDF. All of the little pinholes are filled. Incidentally, we use stainless steel pins in our Pasload nailer for doing all of our outside work, whether it's cladding or fascia boards, for example. Stainless steel is always a really good material to use. If you use a galvanized pin, sometimes you'll see they do generally, get a bit of rust that comes through them or whatever. So I like to use a stainless steel pin. And so we're going to go and have a look at the paint quickly. A bit boring really looking at paint, especially when it's drying, but here we go. So the product itself looks, well, it's a can of paint. So there's the brand, it's Hanford and Green. And when Adam explained to me why his paint was different to other acrylic paints, from memory, he explained to me that a lot of acrylic paints have a little bit of oil in them as well. And his paints have no oil in them. So the drying times and the recoat times are particularly good. But it's very hard wearing. And indeed, he showed me some of their emulsions and some of the main competitors' emulsions. He got me to mark it with a pencil and also a pen, and then we cleaned them off, and you could clearly see that his paint cleaned back far easier, far nicer than the main brands that you probably aware of, associated with. So it's pretty good solution in that respect. So be interesting to see how it looks. We are using a satin, which is around about 20% sheen. Also there's a high gloss for outside as well. And while we just look around at this here, someone also asked me about the outlets and the hoppers, and we had a little discussion about flat roofs and the pros and cons of them. So a quick thing about the roof covering here. It's mitre. It's a single ply membrane which is bonded down to a tissue face PIR, which is cut to falls, so all of the falls are created in the PIR. This eliminates the need for layering up fur-in pieces on fur-in pieces and cross battens, which all are going to shrink. All timber shrinks in its tallest dimension, as you know, if you're a chippy, and so that eliminates a lot of that. So we have a really nice flat solid structure with our deck boards directly fixed down onto the joists, eliminating all that extra shrinkage over the years, especially when there's heat baking down on a flat roof. Then the PIR is bonded down to a vapor barrier on top of the plywood, and then the insulation boards, which are like a jigsaw puzzle creating all the falls, are bonded down to the vapor barrier. And then, as I say, the single ply membrane here is bonded to the top of the tissue faced insulation. And so we've got two outlets on this roof, so all the falls fall down towards these outlets. This one here is just got to be made up, so once the painting's finished, then my mate Si will come back and trim this around here with a special trim, which is effectively what this is on the edge here, which forms this really nice detail over the cove. And then I've got cast aluminium hoppers. This one's a corner hopper, as you can see, and that's going to go in underneath there. and it's going to take the rainwater down to the drains, which goes off to the soakaway, of course. So there's a little update on this job, the MDF fascia, or how to cut mitres in the MDF fascia. If I give you a little close-up of that. Now these have been cut, glued and fixed and painted. There's no filler needed. It's a really nice detail. Here we go. And I'll just go and give you a wide shot of that from back here to show you what it looks like. There we go. So once we have our lanterns put on this week, it's going to really look something, and I'll probably be able to show you that as well. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Catch up with you soon. Have a great weekend.